everyone, welcome to Triple T Thursday. That's tips, tricks, tutorials. I am your host, Shelly Saves the Day, also Shelly Nathan, however you want to go about that. And I'm super excited to chat with y'all today. And one, it is an actual let's chat. But two, there's a couple of things I thought maybe we could dive into. We'll see how that goes. And then anything that you guys in particular, guys and gals, want to chat about, we can certainly do so. One of the first things, are you guys getting a microphone buzzing? Every once in a while that happens, and I'm always like, where is it coming from? If you're not, though, then also then that's fine. But sometimes I'm always paranoid. I'm like, I hear it. All right, so the very first thing that we have to get into is, of course, we have to ask the question, which is, what's in your cup? This is the question we ask every week, and that's where I get to actually be nosy and find out what y'all are sipping on. And I want to know what's in your cup today. Today, I am back to the mug. I don't know if you can see the steam coming off of it. I just got my hot water, and I am doing the Pike Place Market tea, the cinnamon clove orange tea. So that's what's in my cup today. I would love to hear what is in your cup. Do let me know. And one of the things that I almost toyed with the idea of like naming this stream today, which is kind of like what to do when you're feeling a little bit blah. Because I was feeling a little blah today. You never know. Is it the weather? Is it some other reason? Just like when you just feel blah, you know what I mean? And sometimes when you're feeling that way, you're like, I don't even know if I want to, do the things that I'm supposed to be doing. And this leads a very slippery slope, okay? Because when we start to go down this road of like, I don't feel like getting out of bed. I don't feel like getting dressed today. I don't feel like taking a shower. I don't feel like doing any of the things that might seem productive on paper. Is then one day bleeds into 2 days, and then you have a sad girl day, and then you have a sad girl week, and then you have a sad girl month, and before you know it, you've just had a sad girl year. You know what I'm saying? And so when that happens, sometimes you really have to be like, okay, let's get to the root of it. Is it seasonal? Is it something else that's going on in personal life? What is making me feel blah? And how do you motivate yourself when you're just not feeling in the mood to do just about anything? So here's one of the examples is we all know, let's say if we're a YouTube creator, that we're supposed to, let's say, put out videos and respond to comments. And there's a very long to-do list of all the things that we're supposed to do to be good YouTubers. And do we always do them? Most of the time we do not. And this is also very akin to like, oh, it's January 1st. And, how's that new commitment to your health and diet and exercise going, where we commit to ourselves that this is going to be the year that we're finally going to find where our abs are. You know what I'm saying? All that kind of stuff. And then before you know it, the gym is now empty and cleared out in the month of March because most people have abandoned their New Year's resolutions by then, right? Because, and this is something that we started chatting about last week, is sometimes it is more painful to go through the change, and it's less painful to stay the way that we are, even though it makes us sad and miserable and we complain about it later. The pain of changing is greater than our fear or like our motivation to want to change. Hopefully that makes sense, and you know what I mean. And so that's where we become more comfortable, and then we end up abandoning the things that we say that we wanted as goals because it is not comfortable. It's hard work usually for us to change or to do the things that we want. So whether that's working out and whether that's, making YouTube videos or whatever else it is. So for example, we talk about, we all know what we're supposed to do if we want to not have as much extra weight on us. And that is barring you have some sort of medical condition that has made it so. I'm talking about, we all know that we're supposed to eat less, exercise more, move our bodies, right? Get a certain amount of, let's say, cardio or weightlifting, or, reduce the types of bad calories that we're doing and eat more fruits and vegetables. We all know this, right? So there's no like secret formula to the whole diet and exercise combo and lifestyle changes, right? But what do? We fail to implement those things because it's easier to eat a cheeseburger when we don't want to cook. It's easier to skip the gym because the weather is not nice outside. And then what we do is we have ourselves in the same situation at the end of the year, except now with a little bit more guilt on top because we didn't accomplish what we said we wanted to. And one of the things that I am kind of going through in the book that I'm reading, which I talked about last week, and it's the 12-week year. And it's a little bit about how we annualize our lives and we think that we have all of this time to make these changes. And in reality, we don't do those things because we always, right? Almost always overestimate what we can do in a certain amount of time and underestimate what we can do in a certain amount of time, right? So when you kind of strip away some of that and you make it into this 12-week year, which is what this book is kind of theorizing, and we also then have to have this goal in mind. We have to, it's very akin to making these SMART goals, right? The specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time bound. And that is all very much part of, this is my goal. These are the steps that I would need to achieve it. Or on the other side of that being like, if I were the person or the type of person who achieved these things, what are the characteristics or traits or things that I would need to be doing to hit that? So if it's, let's say hit 100,000 YouTube subscribers and that's your ultimate goal. And we know, right, once we did the math, like how many videos we might need to make and how many subscribers we might gain after so many types of videos and how many videos we would need to kind of get that number, right? Barring any kind of viral video success that happened. So we kind of know all these things, but then the real rubber fails to meet the road a lot of the times when we then miss the next step, which is we fail to write down either the goal or the steps and roadmap to get it, right? And then the next step after that is actually doing the execution of it. So one of the things that they do recommend is making sure that we score ourselves not on necessarily the outcome, because the outcome is usually going to come as a, not consequence, but as a addition, a summation of doing all of the steps and executing, right? So if we know that what we're supposed to do is script our videos, plan our videos, do the B-roll for our videos, shoot the videos, allocate the appropriate amount of time for that, the editing of the videos, we would know that if we are executing all of the steps that a successful YouTube type personality person is doing to get those things, each week we kind of score ourselves on how well did we execute the plan that we set out for ourselves? Did we get distracted by other things? Did we let other things interfere? And you give yourself this you get a grade basically. And it's more like, I don't want to spoil the entire book, of course, I'm paraphrasing poorly, but a lot of the time, if you can execute your plan at 85% or more, week after week consistently, more often than not, you'll be very close or you will hit your goal. And so one of the things, remember last week I was all high and mighty about, I have the next 4 videos planned, and in my head I did, and guess what? I've already forgotten what half of them were. And had I done the steps and said, these are the videos that I want to make, right? This is the script that I'm going to do. This is the order in which I'm going to shoot them. And I don't focus on these other things and don't let them distract me. I would be far closer to hitting those 4 videos than being like, I should probably go back and watch the live stream for last week to remember what my goals were that I said. So that's one of the things where they say, one, sure, it's great to speak sometimes them into existence. That's one thing, but it's far more permanent when you write those things down, when you share what you've written, when you make then the plan. It can't just be like, release 2 videos a week for 12 weeks. It has to be, and this is the process and this is how I do, and then you grade yourself on the execution of it. And then if something is amiss, like if you're executing 90% of the time and you're nowhere near the goal, then maybe the goal isn't not realistic, but it isn't bound to the types of steps that you are writing down or choosing to implement. Does that make sense? And so they talk a lot about this. And so I was going to say, I gave myself these goals. Let's say it was even to script 2 of those videos and to shoot 1 of them. Okay. Even today, I was like, today I don't have as much going on. I'm going to film 2 different videos. And I have filmed none of them. So technically my execution is at like 0% today. But then at the end of the day, as I'm nearing it, I'm also like, oh, wow, I'm not feeling very well. And I can tell you that I would feel better had I executed 50% of the goals that I wanted today and I look back at them versus knowing that I've executed none of them and then just feeling like a big old pile of trash that I haven't done anything. And here's one of the things that happened. I know for myself that I am easily distracted. You all know that too. ADD squirrel brain at work. But one of the things that has happened, I have realized, is if I have my morning coffee and I sit on the couch and I allow myself to start scrolling through TikTok and I allow myself to start watching YouTube early in the morning, I'm still there at lunchtime. I'm still there sometimes after lunchtime. And this is a problem. And so now I'm recognizing this behavior and this pattern, and I'm saying, you know what I need to do is I need to make sure that I am not starting to consume that content early in the morning. It is bad for me. And it's not just bad for me like mentally, because then I'm down the shame spiral of all the things that all the other people have that I don't have, right? But it's actually distracting me in a way where I can't accomplish the things that I say that I want to do. So when I go to the execution scorecard, I say, I've done nothing because all of these things have happened and I haven't done the things that are on my road plan, right? So when that happens, you need to eliminate the distractions and things that are deterring you from hitting your own goals. And so that's one of the things I've recognized is this morning I wasted a good 3 hours just in a row, just scrolling mindlessly, thinking, oh yeah, the next I'm going to do, I have plenty of time to do, my video today that I want to shoot. And it didn't happen. And so I know this now about myself. I can't allow myself to waste so much of the day. It should almost, I could treat myself as a reward. Had I filmed 2 videos, I could be like, sweet, I can send this off to the editor. I'm going to reward myself with some TikTok. I didn't do that. Okay. I went the other way. I gave myself the reward first, wasted 3-4 hours, and I still never filmed anything. So this is something that I'm definitely thinking about. And I'm definitely going to be looking at. All right. So let me take a look at what y'all are saying in the comments here. What do we have over here? We've got Pixelpia's in the house. We have Finding Your Balance saying they're drinking coffee, flavored coffee and Poland Springs water. Yes. Hello. Flavored coffee. I know. It looks like I should be doing it in the makeup videos. It's so funny, was one of the videos that I wanted to film today was a makeup video. So I've been hoarding all of my makeup trash to talk about some of the empties as some of the beauty people do. And I was excited because I was going to do 2 videos. The 2 videos were actually beauty videos. The first one was I was going to get ready with some of the things that I like. Not necessarily favorites, but a lot of people will make this video, and I had originally thought I really want to do it at the end of the year. Didn't get to it, didn't do it, didn't write it down, didn't make a roadmap for it. And then I was like, maybe January, maybe February. And now I'm like, okay, I can't make it to any month. I can't tie it to a specific month. I'm just gonna say some of my current favorites. And then after that, I was gonna do then talking about not just the favorites, but the trash, right? So if one was going to be Get Ready With Me, and then the next was going to be favorites and trash. And I did neither of those today. So I'm kind of mad at myself because on a day like when I'm streaming, typically I end up choosing to put makeup on. And so I was like, oh, well, it's a filming day, right? Because of a live stream. So I should film myself putting makeup on, and then once my makeup face is on, I should then not waste it and film another video, right? So technically I was going to try and do 3, the live stream plus the beauty favorites plus the Get Ready With Me. Now I can't do the Get Ready With Me, but I could still film the favorites after I get done with the live stream. Maybe I still will. But that was the whole thing, is I was so excited to film this video, and then instead what I ended up doing was just like trying to throw some stuff on my face really quickly because I started getting ready at like 5:15, for a live stream that starts at 5:30. So it's interesting and funny that you said that. It should have been a beauty video because technically there was going to be a beauty video. Okay, so what do we have? Renee is in the house. Oh no, he's in the house hearing me talk about what a failed YouTuber I am. Pixelpia says, I just ordered the Elgato teleprompter and you're getting it on Tuesday. You know what? That's very exciting. I looked at it, but back when I was looking at it, it did say that it was going to take 3 or 4 months for it to come in. So I'm really excited that you're going to get it faster. And number 2, I have a teleprompter. I ended up never using it and putting it away just because the thing was so large. And I like the idea of it, but that would require me to be prepared enough to have a script ahead of time that I was ready to do. Don't count me out because y'all know my squirrel ADD brain needs it and some structure. But yeah, we'll see. I'm very curious to see how it goes for you. So, I ordered a bunch of probiotics. I hope it works. I need to go to the gym, but need to do so more often. It's funny that you mentioned that as well. I was on a TikTok rabbit hole talking about digestive enzymes and stuff to help with tummy bloat for me. And yeah, it's just funny. I put it in my cart, but I didn't buy. I wasn't sure. But anyways, I digress. Don't do what I did and forget to hit the thumbs up. Yeah, please don't forget to do that. You should do that. I ordered a special ladder that I picked up. Oh, a special ladder. And someone recommended a book. It may have been one of your guests. I refused to pay $52 for a used book. What was the book? Yes, it's adaptable gorilla ladder or something. Nice. And 65-year-old wooden ladder, and I'm a big guy. Digital slang in the house. Hey, how's it going? Oh, wow. You may not be anymore because I'm very behind in chat, but wow, nice to see you. Great to see you. Canva content. She has a lot of health issues. She has a role model and powers through her health issues. Yeah, honestly, sometimes I feel like I could see there could be a connection between some people who may be sick as well, and then this, or videos or whatever it is, it could be, making sure they have time to do an arts and craft or making sure they have some sort of creative outlet. Sometimes building that into your schedule is something to look forward to and makes you feel better when you're in the midst of horrible things too. So, yes, gotcha. How are the shorts doing? I mean, they're going. They're going. I don't know. Shorts are fine. I mean, technically, I'm not creating too many new ones, and the brothers are just ripping apart the live streams. But I do have a couple of shorts, including a couple of time lapses that I took of Seattle, and I put them over on my personal channel, the Shelly Nathan channel. So if you want to see a couple of those, I took those 2 days ago because I actually have a membership at kind of a digital, a co-working space, and it has a membership between two different locations. One is a really tall, office building one, which has those specific views, beautiful views, and I took a couple of time lapses from a couple different angles, and then one of them is a little bit more downtown and doesn't have that same kind of view. It just has a really casual type of atmosphere. So I like going to both. I prefer the one when in the high rise because something being up in the clouds and seeing the view just really makes me happy and smile. I cannot believe how expensive parking is, and if I could just somehow get myself there for free or cheap, I would go there every day. So there's that. Oh, he's still here, he says. And then he says, I seem to be seeing more of your shorts. I think right now I have the brothers do one a day. So one a day. So have I tried Opus Clips? Turns long. Yeah, here's the thing. I did a live stream technically trying out Opus Clip and video.ai. I also just bought a membership to Bite Sized, I think it's called. It was an AppSumo deal. And here's the thing is I still think that the human touch is sometimes needed. It's getting better. I'll say that, but it's not quite there yet because of the 20 clips it gives you. I find that maybe 3 are workable in a way that I could actually put out, but it still requires work and input from me, even with the templates I have, even and whatnot. So it still takes finagling. So, and sometimes I do feel like it's nice to still have the human touch as well. So I would like it to get a little bit better before I rely just on that as is and put out the clips. I know some people are really into it. I've found hit or miss success with them, mostly miss as the majority. So, and I find a lot of the time it repeats a lot of the same clips. So, but I'm hopeful that it gets better and better. So, but yes. I definitely have tried Opus Clips and video.ai, and there is a live stream checking out both if you do want to see what one of the former rounds of iteration was. So there's that. This says, they're definitely not perfect. I find I can get about 5 decent ones. And that's the thing is once you start sifting through the quality, it doesn't even matter sometimes when I give the feedback, oh, I don't like this one, because it asks you, what don't you like about this one? And I think it's that one, not video.ai, right? You put in, it gives you the score and you, write your reasons. But I'm this is a repeat clip and this thing in itself doesn't really make sense. Even when you give it that kind of feedback, it doesn't seem to always apply it to any of the next rounds either. So I don't know. I'm not saying that the jury's out because the jury has come back with a verdict, and the verdict is about 25% of the stuff is usable with some extra touch. But at that point, if I'm going to spend all that time doing the touch on it, then I might as well just do some of it myself, because if it's me, a lot of the time I remember when I said a specific thing. That's a lie. I remember abouts when might have said a certain thing, and I try and get that thing in. But I'm hopeful that it gets better, but still right now, most of the time I end up preferring, like if the brothers end up giving me 10 shorts, I can use 7 or 8 of them for the most part before I need to do corrections, versus Opus gives me 20 and I can use 4. So, but yeah, I'm definitely hoping they get better. Yeah, exactly, right? I've always said it's never going to be hopefully worse than it is right now. It should only get better, but it's still not quite where I need it just yet. Okay, so another thing that I wanted to chat with y'all about is one of the things that has been going on recently with me is, okay, so we're just going to talk really quick about these, okay? So this is an iPhone. This one is the iPhone 6s Plus. This one is the original Pixel phone, okay? And why am I talking about these? I am talking about these. First of all, y'all know that this one, the original Pixel, you could upload as much as you want to your Google Photos in original quality as long as you had a Pixel phone. So this is basically a transferable, small hard drive, if you will, that as long as I kept loading things onto this and then chucking things up to the Google Cloud, I could just keep rinse and repeat, okay? But herein lies the problem, is that you think it's valuable, but one, it's like a 16 gigabyte, which means, you have 8 or 9 gigabytes that are available to you, right? But also, the battery won't hold, and so it has to be plugged in all the time. But also, the list goes on, right? And I've always fought with it, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to make this thing work, and it's okay. Now I'm going to use this adapter so I'm going to show y'all. And this is literally what I was doing. One of the things I was doing today. So I have this guy that I was hooking into this, right? One of these little hub guys and I could put the power in here. I could still do the pass-through charging. I could put the memory card in here, and then I was trying to put some. But more often than not, this would die. It wouldn't hold a charge, and I could only choose one large file at a time, right? Just so I could keep it in 4K or whatever. And what I realized is I'm always sometimes want to try and find a way to do something rather than just doing the straightforward, most obvious thing. Shelly, what do you mean by that? I'd love to explain. Yes, let's keep going. So instead of me trying to beat the system and squeeze out every last bit that I can from this and making my life miserable by trying to find these 3-4 gig chunks at a time to transfer 1 or 2 at a time and wasting all this time trying to make this solution work, there are alternatives which I could have done, including, maybe use the storage saver option, which is going to down compress your photos into a 16 megapixel photo, or going to downgrade your video quality to 1080p, but will let you store more, right? And me being the petulant little child being like, no, of course I want everything to stay. But if let's say I'm recording raw footage for a video, sometimes let's just say a talking head video, which takes me 20 minutes of footage, and I end up cutting down to 5 minutes. Why do I need to keep the 20-minute long raw do you see what I'm saying? Instead, what I should just do is keep the finished video. But this is where my digital hoarder mind goes to, okay, this kind of stuff. And so I was I made a decision today, is that I was going to retire this. And that just means factory reset, because even today I was still trying to get it to work and it just won't. And it's girl, take the hint. I'm dead. We're 10 iterations later, just about, if you count the A's, right? The 6A, the 7A, we're 10 iterations later of the Pixel phone. Why are you still trying to get this thing to work for a little bit of extra cloud storage space? The most obvious option is reduce your file size, stop uploading so many things, or pay for more storage. You know what I'm saying? So here I am thinking I'm going to make all of these solutions work, when instead sometimes the obvious solution is to just face the solutions that are in front of you. Sometimes they're provided to you, such as hey, just pay us. Sometimes you can just toss some money at the problem, okay? And just pay for more storage. And instead, what do? Like, we start thinking of ways to negotiate. We're like, oh, what if we just open up a new Gmail account because they're free and that gets me an extra 15 gigs of cloud storage and I just have to remember which account to log in. And it was like, well, no. If the whole point is to make your life easier, just have the one account that you can go in and search everything from, pay for the extra storage. Why keep doing this to yourself when you have 15 emails as it is? And so we're going someplace with this train, people, okay? We are. So the next thing is this iPhone, okay? Now this is an iPhone 6S Plus, all right? We are now on iteration of the iPhone 15 Pro, right? Or, how many S series they had. So, I mean, there have been quite a few iterations since then. And, right, one of the things I said is I'm trying to get rid of a lot of the things that are like antiquated in terms of like cabling. I don't want to have a million cables anymore, and I want to have like everything be USB-C, and I think that's fine. And so why am I holding on? And this is a 16 gig, again, the smallest. And what I was using it for is when we were doing our dance team auditions, I was chosen as this performance mentor, which means that people could pay for private lessons for the audition routines. And so I would keep all of the music for all the dances that we need to learn on this. But it means every single time I had a private lesson, I always made sure I had an extra device in the purse with me, right? So now I've got extra weight, I've got extra baggage, literally, and a device that I always have to make sure is charged with a different charger. And so I decided today, again, I factory reset this one, and I'm going to let this one go too, because you all know I have a problem with digital hoarding. And so now I was like thinking about this, and let's think it through, and I'm like, so what if someone has to, I put do not disturb on my phone, or I use my extra phone. You know what I'm saying? So I am doing a little bit of this like digital cleansing of my space, of my devices, of my everything. And it's because it's a little bit how I feel just in general, as there's too much going on. It's too complicated. It's too scattered. And I know that that's a little bit my brand too, but I'm trying to be a bit more like streamlined. And so I really am trying to find ways to simplify everything in my life, whether that's my wardrobe, and we can talk about that, whether it's my makeup routine, whether it's my digital storage solutions, which we're kind of talking about, whether it's the number of devices I have, right? All of this is coming into like, I'm really trying to streamline everything. And so, like I said, I still have too many phones, but at least I have one more device that I no longer have to worry about. And so I have a whole bunch of things. And a lot of the time, if something is still working, I'm also of this mind that like, I shouldn't get rid of it, right? It still works. I shouldn't get rid of it. And I was like, oh no, I have this little Bluetooth speaker. Shoot, it's right over there. And it's not even micro USB, y'all. It's mini USB, right? And I was like, and the Blue Yeti, right, microphone is the mini USB. And I have other devices that are mini USB, right? And I already complain about micro USB, but we're talking mini, which is even more old. And so I was thinking about this, and I was like, why am I holding on to this tiny little Bluetooth speaker when I have other replacement speakers that I purchased that are USB-C because I wanted everything in my life to be USB-C? And this thing was a gift like from the company that I used to work at. Like they gave one to everyone. And I was like, why am I holding on to this? It is years later. The thing doesn't even have a very good battery life. It doesn't sound very good. For all intents and purposes, I've replaced it many times over with nicer things, and there's no reason that I need to hold on to it. But I still can't seem to get rid of it or want to give it away, and it's just sitting around. So I'm here drowning in stuff, right? But here's the thing is now I have to keep micro USB cables, mini USB cables, the lightning cables and the USB-C cables, and not just 2 micro USB cables, because I keep one for every single darn thing I've ever had, including like every single cell phone I used to have, which used to be like the HTC ones and different phones that were all micro USB. So you guys didn't see it, but I had like entire like shelf boxes of each type of cable. And then I thought I was like really, really organized because I put them into gallon size bags, Ziploc bags, and I started labeling them, right? And then I was like, look at me, I'm so organized. And now I'm in this smaller space and I'm like, I can't keep 30 micro USB cables. I just can't. And so, but it is painful to me to be like, well, which ones do I get rid of? Which ones are not like the good ones? I don't know. And I mean, I might need to have 40. No one needs 40, okay? And so I am learning, it's a painful process because I don't know if there's something in me that is very, I'm sure it runs psychologically deep where I always want to feel like I have enough, right? Whether it's to share or give away, or I don't want to be without, I don't want to be needy. I always would say, like, it's better to have the thing and not need it than to need the thing and not have it, right? But that leads me down the path of having 30 micro USB cables, right? Including ones that are like 3 inches long, including ones that are like 10 feet long. And I'm like, because you never know where you, and that's the thing, is right? One, if you really needed another micro USB cable, Shelly, I'm talking to myself right now out loud, you could certainly purchase one off of Amazon for like $3-4. But the fact is, I would rather have it keep up a ton of space in my room because I'm deathly afraid of being without one when I need it. When I could just be brave enough to get rid of the things that I don't need that use it, then I could also get rid of the cables. Is anyone following along with this? Have I lost everybody? I'm so sorry, but like it really is. It's a whole system. And so like I was thinking about this and I'm like, okay, so I'm getting rid of this iPhone. Great. One less thing in my life that needs the lightning cable. I just got rid of this Pixel phone. Great. And of course this doesn't save me a lot of room, right? But it is a visual representation of like you're doing the thing. And when we do little things, even if it's this, all the time, if we do little things all the time, over a course of period of time, it adds up to something bigger. And that is the hope, because I'm telling you right now that I definitely have felt a lot of the time like I am drowning in things. And you guys, I've talked about this before, just swimming in my own stuff. And there's nothing like a move to really help illustrate that for you. And I just can't, because I can't feel creative and I can't feel like I can be productive when I'm worried about like not being able to get to my seat, when I can't get in the room, when I can't close the door, and just looking around and feeling like there are still things everywhere. And why do I feel this deep-seated need to hoard these things? And why am I making my life harder because of this need to hold on to everything? And I do have a really difficult time being like, Shelly, you can have 3 micro USB cables. You don't need, I literally still, after I did the purge, I went from 30 to probably 15 because I was like, I've really pared down. And I did pare down, but it's still not enough. And that's where I'm at right now, is everything. I'm just needing so much more simplicity in my life. And, and you guys felt that from, I turned in like my really expensive camera. I turned in some of these lenses. I got like a simple point and shoot. It's basically a webcam right now. And it's still all too much. And in this ever present world where we're all just bombarded with buy this and get that, and the next thing, I'm literally thinking about how can I shed everything, because getting all this stuff hasn't made me much more productive. Getting all this stuff hasn't made me much happier. Getting all this stuff hasn't made me a better storyteller, a better YouTuber. And so it really is kind of like, there's a problem when, my husband is like, I think I'm going to start doing some YouTube stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I got a mic for you. I've got a cloud lifter for you. I've got a sound interface for you. I've got like all of these cables for you. And I'm like, If you have enough to set up someone completely as a whole new, brand new thing, that could be a problem. I mean, it's great for him, but you see, like, it's a problem. Or me thinking like, oh yeah, Shelly, you really need a vlog camera. So what do? You stupidly go out and buy another one when you have all these cell phones at your disposal that shoot high enough resolution, and that's what you end up shooting with all the time anyway. So stop kidding yourself. And like facing some of these hard truths, because I don't need a lot of this stuff. I really do try and keep it simple. Most of the stuff that you see is shot on my cell phone a lot of the time, then, if it's not something that's like this. Um, and that's fine. And it doesn't make me bad because I use a cell phone, and that's what, I don't know if I've been trained to believe that because other people watching me are like, what equipment are you using? And what is this? And what is that? And for me to be like, oh, I just use my cell phone. I don't use a fancy camera. I don't have an action camera. This microphone that I had, they've made 2 iterations since then, and I barely have touched the surface on this. And that's fine. And I think if it was a couple years ago, I would have had a harder time being like, I want to keep it as simple as possible. Not because I want it all. I mean, of course we all want the things, but in like reality, I still had this idea that we all have this romantic self, right? Where we're going to be like, I'm not a girl that wears a ton of color, let's say on my eyes, but we keep all of the eye makeup that is like super bright and colorful, not because we use it all the time, but because we have this fantasy self in mind where we're like, oh, one day I'm going to want to wear neon green, and I'm going to be really sad that I don't have neon green. And so you hold on to it for 4 years. Or we have these socks specifically that we wear once a year, and instead of just, and they're in these huge fluffy like socks, like Santa socks, and instead of just like throwing them away and getting a new pair next year for the $15, I bemoan about how much room they take up in my sock drawer, because I can't possibly let them go because I've already paid for them and I could just wear them next year. Do you see what I'm saying? It's things like that, this weird hoarder mentality. And sometimes we should just throw away the socks. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense to anybody? Anybody makes sense? Too much stuff. I know a few resellers that can help with that. Well, it's not just stuff though that people would necessarily even want. It's just too much stuff in general, and it's just too much. So, all right, what are y'all saying? I have boxes of tech that I've intended to donate and sell, but I haven't gotten around to it. Yeah, and that's the thing, is sometimes we allow ourselves then to, it's nice to go down this memory lane of like, oh, remember this? And I use this Palm Trio, and oh my gosh, this BlackBerry Curve. And it's one thing to like hold on to all of the pieces of tech because they hold a special place in your heart, but like, it's okay to just take a photo of each of the phones too, and then keep it in your Google Drive and then get rid of the tech, right? Like, you don't have to physically hold on to the piece of technology anymore. And that's one of the pieces that I'm really trying to embrace now, is I don't need to hold on to everything. And just because it may or may not work or function too, like I said, that Bluetooth speaker, I don't need it. In fact, I really need to throw it away. I know that in my head, but somewhere in my lizard brain, right, that prehistoric, like fight or flight, like something ingrained in you, I have this physical, like, need to hold on to it because it works. And it works for like a little bit of time. It doesn't hold a very good chart. But that's the thing, is like my lizard brain is like, it's perfectly fine, right? It's fine. It's like the person who has that refrigerator from 1970. It's like, it still works. And you're like, but you don't need it. Or like, oh, no, let me just put it in my garage, and it will be for the other sodas and things. And you're like, but you don't need it. So, oh, you're going? Oh, it's the State of the Union. Gosh, I cannot believe. Wow, okay, got it. Have a great night. Yes. Are there topics that y'all want to talk about? Anything in particular? It's just kind of like a chat one, but I really wanted to be like, what are you kind of doing when you're feeling unmotivated? Sometimes it could be the weather, which, by the way, it is daylight savings time this weekend. So hopefully if you are someone who is affected by seasonal affective disorder, it's going to be lighter, longer, deeper into the evening, and some of that might help. If it is being a product of your environment. I cannot tell you how much better I felt this week when I got out of the house at least one day and I went to that office space. I was up in the clouds. I was seeing buildings. The time lapses were really fun, but it was just like, it was nice to get out because I don't usually leave the house very often. And it was just nice to see sky and people, not interact with people, God no, but like, it was nice to like leave the house, have a purpose, do something, you know? And I feel like a lot of us who work from home or online creators, we don't interface as much as we probably should because we sit down in front of a camera and we pretend that this is normal, that I'm in a room talking to myself, thinking that you're there responding and talking to me too, which is a strange phenomenon at the end of the day, but great for us introverts. But really, I was watching the Philip DeFranco show and we were talking about how this nation is really fighting this epidemic of loneliness. And one of the reasons, we just don't get out of the house, or if we do, like, we're not making friends, or, I mean, it's just a lot of things like that. And it is so true because I don't have new friends. I just meet friends that I already have had and deepen those relationships. But I could see if you're not leaving the house or doing things, then yeah, it is difficult. And I think a lot of people are really lonely right now. And doing this as a career definitely can lead to that too, because all the relationships that you have are behind a keyboard talking to someone else, pretending like that they're there. So, not that y'all aren't great. You know what I mean? We should book a cruise. We just booked a cruise for Thanksgiving. That sounds great. Where are you going to be going? That sounds lovely. So sometimes you look at the hoard and it's overwhelming to think about getting rid of it all. That is absolutely true. Yes. And one of the things that will really make you realize that is when you're packing or unpacking things from when you're moving and, looking at these things being like, I haven't used this in 2 years. I didn't even know I still had this. Why am I packing it to take with me to this next place? It's unnecessary. And, but something, and again, like I said, in my lizard brain just refuses to like let it go and be like, you don't need this. You don't have to hold on to this. Even now I'm staring at that little Bluetooth one. I'm like, oh, it was a prize from from the company that I used to work at. And I'm like, girl, you haven't worked there in like 6 years. Let it go, And so that being said, I am going to put it in the trash. I promise. And then I will take at least one corresponding 5-pin USB cable and put it in the trash too. Because whatever one that one was using to charge, it can go away. Because there's no good reason. There is no good reason that you need a 5-pin USB, a mini USB, okay? You just don't. Just like FireWire. Don't need it anymore. So, leave the house? Why? Then you have to interact with people for real. I know, right? I know. It's tough, man. Where are you going on your cruise, though? I'm definitely curious about that. And here's another thing is, y'all, I did want to film parts of the, like my office tour or my filming setup. But then I was like almost embarrassed because it was going to be like, for some people, right, it's going to be like, that's it. And for some people, it's going to be like, oh my God, that's way too much stuff. And there's never a consensus of pleasing everyone on the internet, right? And I'm like, am I ready to get ripped apart by people and strangers on the internet for what I do and don't have as part of my setup? And like this mental like fortitude I need to have to be like, here come all the comments about, this is why you don't have more subscribers because you don't have like more equipment, or this is why, like tons of things that you build up in your head as to what people are going to respond with. And so honestly, a little bit, it was a little scared, scaredy cat moment, because I was also like, and then people are going to be like, wow, your space is really messy. So in my head, I'm like, what I really need to do is make sure that maybe I do more of this detox, more of this cleanse, more of like cleaning out the space. But then I'm like, but that's not the world, one, that I live in. It's not accurate. And I think you guys know I try and be like very like honest and transparent with you. But two, the other thing is like, I think of my friend Jessica Stansberry, who said like, oh, if I waited, the 10 pounds to come off before starting a YouTube channel, I never would have started a YouTube channel. And that's the thing, is like, if I don't just film the video, even with the room being messy or even with the things that people are going to say, you're never going to see what it looks like. And it's never going to be perfect, because by the time I finally get it perfect, it'll be next year, So, surgery for scoliosis. Oh my goodness. sending good vibes out to your daughter. I'm sorry. That's got to be tough. Um, but yeah, I guess I really just want to talk to you all about, kind of like doing a little bit of a detox, a cleanse of, your space and your mind and everything. And one of the things, and really, I just want to show you as an example, is if you don't write down your goals or if you don't eliminate the distractions that are happening, you'll end up like me a week from now, where I came a week later being like, oh, I have all these ideas for videos I want to shoot. And I can't even remember them because I didn't write them down like I'm supposed to. I didn't write down the plan to execute them. And I didn't grade myself on the execution knowing to be held accountable for those actions. I didn't do any of those things. And so, of course, it would stand to reason why it would make sense that I didn't accomplish any of the goals that I set out for. And so here I am kind of embarrassed coming back being like, after last week, feeling kind of motivated, being like, yeah, I'm so excited. I'm going to do these videos. And I didn't. And even today, thinking to myself, oh, there are 2 videos I want to do, and I didn't do them either. And I say this because people who may come to the channel may be like, oh, well, the appearances, you may know what you're talking about, or you like don't have any problems, or you never have any bad days. But I think you guys and gals know that couldn't be farther from the truth. There are plenty of ups and downs and weird things like that. And I think it's important because most of what you see online is just this highlight reel of people's best moments. And I really wish when I was watching, there were sometimes people there, not like monetizing their crying. That's not what I'm saying. Although I do know some of those people too, right? Like, it's kind of I don't want to really get into the weeds on that one, but it's almost like they play up their sadness, or they're in a perpetual victim type of mentality, so that sad fishing people in a way to feel bad for them, to I don't know if it's a misery loves company, or people like to watch other people suffer, or people really like to feel important by giving encouraging remarks. I don't know any of those things, but it's one of those things I have found that sometimes people who overshare in this, I'm not saying you don't share the things that make you sad and happy, but I'm saying when they do it and they monetize on it and capitalize on it in a way that is for sometimes exaggeration and clicks and engagement. So I don't really want to go more into it than that, but anyways, I'm saying that there are definitely steps that one has to take to achieve their goals. And I know now, when left to my own devices, I will scroll on TikTok and watch Twilight and play with my dogs and do none of the things that I said that I wanted to do. And then shame spiraled down because I wasted a day or didn't do the things, and like really kind of feel bad about myself. And so I just want you to know that if you feel like you're not able to seem to twist your head on right sometimes, that you're not by yourself, that other people feel it too. And it's one thing to try and like find our way out of it, because we definitely can. So, yes. And I'm not talking about people who like genuinely need self-care, a break, anything like that. There's a whole nuance to this that I'm referring to. Like, the people who claim that they want to get in shape and then they go, join a gym and they never go to work out. That's kind of more so a little bit, because we all start with these great intentions and these ideas of what we're going to do. And then we end up not executing on things that we need to do for our ultimate goal, right? Our ultimate goal might have been to lose 30 pounds so that we're not diabetic and we can, live longer and hang out with our kids and do those types of things. But it's far easier to eat the whole bag of potato chips than it is to just have 2. And it's difficult when there's this whole thing of like the people who say that they want to change, and then they bemoan the fact that maybe even sometimes they're jealous other people change, but when push comes to shove, they don't do the actions themselves that they know that they need to take to be able to change it. I'm not talking about because other people go through things that are sad, and that's not, I'm talking about the people who continually, will for years and years and years say the same story. I want to change, or I want to do this thing, or I want to have a healthy relationship, or I want to, all these things are the things that they want, but they don't actually ever make the strides and steps, because we all make strides and steps and sometimes fall down or don't execute, or, and we change the plan. But I'm talking the ones who like just say they want the thing and refuse to do any of the work to get there. So, and yeah, we sometimes will shame spiral, and I've definitely been down that road, and I've definitely wallowed in it, and definitely succumbed to that quite a bit. So I'm not quite just talking about that. I'm talking about the people who are the talkers, who always say that they want to do the thing and then never take any of the action that they know that they need to, right? There has to be the point where you're kind of like fed up with your own amount of talking that doesn't equate to action. That's what I'm kind of referring to. So, okay. Any other things that y'all want to chat about? Let me know. I would just encourage you, though, to maybe take a look if there are things that are like keeping you down. Is it internal? Is it external? Is it anything, baby steps that you can do to kind of start to come out of the funk? Whether it's, at least identifying what your goals are, identifying some of the steps that you might want to take to get there, or even writing down some of the things that are detracting or distracting you from getting towards. And I'm not saying all the time that the goal is to only achieve the thing, but sometimes the progress is a big goal. But I definitely noticed that today when, like I said, I didn't write the goals down. I had the hoarder mentality. I still felt overwhelmed with stuff. I let a whole bunch of self-doubt and, all of these inner monologues get to me about what I can and cannot do. And it's not something that I think I can fix in a day, but it is something that I can recognize some of the triggers of the things that help me get to this point. So that's what I'm saying. Pixelpia is back just in time for us to be signing off, right? I'm sorry this one was a little bit more of a downer. I don't know if it all was classified as a downer. I don't know if it was helpful to anybody. Sometimes I'm just talking and processing out loud as I was thinking about things, and I wanted to share them with you. Give it a thumbs up if any of that resonated with you. Yeah. I guess I'm just going to say spring cleaning, spring, all the things are here. And there's no better time than now to start to take stock of some of your goals, the roadmaps to your goals, and the steps that you want to take to achieve them. And if you want to share with the class or, put them as a comment on this video, you certainly can. But I hope so many good things for all of you watching. I appreciate you all for watching. Like I said, it was a little bit more of a heavy, I guess, topic today than I had planned or expected, but I appreciate you for letting me process out loud. And on the note of digital detox, one of the things, like I also mentioned, paying for the just digital storage instead of trying to go around and have these extra phones or something. One of the things I did, I closed another YouTube channel today. I just didn't feel it was necessary to have it anymore. I can put it on, there were like 4 or 5 videos. I could put it on my personal, little channel. And it's just one less thing to have to scroll through in the morning. And it's fine. It's not like it was a failure. It was because, like, I know better that it's not something that I want to continue doing, and I can just roll it into the personal channel and just, have it be done with. And that's one of those things where if you start to reminisce and get nostalgic about, like, oh, I've had this YouTube channel for so many years and I really shouldn't get rid of it. And what if somebody still wants... No. Like, it wasn't serving its purpose. It wasn't serving me. It was just digital declutter or digital clutter, and I didn't need it anymore. And so I just deleted it before I could even think twice, like, and second guess and bring it back. And I think I should do that with more of the things that I have, like the music channel, or in fact, maybe I should just get it done and over with. because there's no reason for me to have to hold on to these properties. And I was thinking about this too, where someone was like, well, I always make sure to go on to any of the brand new social sites and I claim my username so no one else can take it. And I did the same, you know, now on properties that are closed. I remember like the Vero and Threads and the other TikTok kind of competitor one, like all of these, like I have accounts on all of them with my username. And you all know how much I always rail about how much I hate Instagram or I hate, all these things. Why do I have accounts there anymore? And I saw my friend Kevin Colby, I think he had deleted his Instagram account. It was some social account, right? And I think for some people it would be like, oh my God, blasphemous. Like, well, I would not like delete a piece of real estate online because you never know if one of them goes down. And I think we all saw it too this week. Like LinkedIn was down for a bit, Facebook and Instagram were down, and right, how volatile some of these things really are. Right now there's a possible unanimous push to maybe even get TikTok to sell and break away from its parent company, or like it will be banned and stuff like that. And I was thinking about this and I was like, I don't use Snapchat. Why do I need to have it? Why can't I just close that account? And when I went to Belize with my husband, one of the people, that's how they communicate, was through WhatsApp. And I'm like, oh. He's like, you have to download it. I'm like, I don't want to download another app. I don't want to download another thing. And I was thinking about this and I was like, I don't need to have a Snapchat. I don't. And it's one of those like, do I need to hold on to it so I have the username? But I'm like, but so what? So what if someone else, if they get huge, then should I go after them after trademark infringement? I don't know. Or people are going to see it and know that it's not me. But it's like, what does it matter if I'm not on that platform? Or like, I always talk about how much I hate Instagram and I'm like, then why do I have it? I don't need to keep it. And so the whole point was I saw that he was deleting Instagram and I was like, what else should I be deleting? Should I delete Threads? Should I delete, the Vero account? Should I delete what other accounts out there? Because I don't need them. And that's just maybe part of the digital cleanse. Maybe. So anyways, if that resonates with any of you, please let me know. I guess that I'm not by myself and that you understand what I mean. And we are twin, and I think it resonates. Oh, good. And that's okay. Having the courage to share tough parts is often missing from people's videos. I agree. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, shame spiral buddies. Shame spiral for sure. Yeah, and you know what? I don't think my life is going to be any worse because I deleted my Vero account, So I don't know if that encourages anyone. Or Pixel P, I know you have multiple YouTube channels too, just like I do. Maybe you want to close one too. Because I think I am. I think I'm done with all of that. Like, I can have my beauty channel, I can have this channel, and I can have my personal channel. Because there's no reason I need to have maybe even, a separate vertical video channel. I mean, I do enjoy that channel. I say that, but I never post there. So it's like one of those, like, if I really want to do a vertical tutorial, couldn't I do it here? Maybe. But like all the other channels, as I'm looking through them, that's a good thing. Let me look at. There's no reason that I shouldn't maybe just delete some of these, And because I know that nobody really wants to probably see the beauty content on this channel, and that's just too many topics. I totally get that. That's fine. Actually, I do enjoy the vertical tutorials, but that's the thing, is that I have so much split focus that I never spend time on that channel and I neglect it, right? So maybe if I close down some of these other digital real estate properties, maybe I could look at them, Because I was saying to someone, sometimes I do things just to prove that I can. I don't know who I'm proving it to, but then what? So you said some of them haven't had any content since before the pandemic. Time to let them go. Wait, are you talking about me? You're talking about my own channels? Ouch. Calling me out? Rude. And you said you have one. I've closed all but 3 and rebranded this one. Okay. And, oh, Pixelpia only has 1 left. Did you see that? One channel. Yeah. Proud of you. You know, I'm kind of there with you, and because in reality, you know, we're always like, oh, for the different facets of my life. But you know what? I don't need to have a separate music channel because I don't even broadcast to it. I used to back in the day. I would also live stream to it, but since I'm not doing that, there's no reason to keep that music channel because I just can still do the live stream on Twitch as I have been, right? Yeah, and I get that. I would keep the ones that have completely different audiences and niches, and I think I'll do the same. Like I said, I enjoy having the beauty channel, even though I don't post there as regularly. I enjoy having the Shelly Nathan channel, which is just where everything else like just dumps into. Oh, James. Okay. Yeah, no, you did not mention that earlier. Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, welcome back. And James, yeah, I would say you're making some changes. You know what? Good for you for being brave and doing it. And I think it's hard to, like I said, have so many split focuses, and you can't ride a horse with one booty, right? Sometimes you got to choose. And I've had like 12 different channels, and I don't need to. I just don't find the need to do that. And I still keep the Shelly Shops one because it's just a place to jam all the Amazon videos because I know nobody wants to see them here, and they need to be somewhere. So like I get that one, and I get the ones that would be most up for closing. Like I just said, I closed a couple, but I should close the music channel, and yeah, right. Pixelpia didn't even know that it was James, so. I'm excited to hear about your new channel focus and direction. You're gonna have to let us know all about that. All right, so I'm gonna go for reals this time, but comments, questions, concerns, put them in the thing down below. I encourage you to do some digital detox of your life, of your real estate properties digitally, of all the things in your life. And hopefully next week we will be in a much better place, and I'll get to report back to you that I have done far more than I did in this past week. So have a great week, y'all, and I will see you all in a video very soon. Bye.